Good morning, small business community. My name is Leland McFarland. I'm with Small Business Trends, and this is the Small Business Spotlight, where we shine a light on the news and deals and maybe a few stories that are interesting to small business owners. So, without further ado, let's get into the news. And, bear with me. I've got myself a brand new software that I'm using. So, all right, I got that. Where's my layouts? All right, first up in the news that we have, this comes from CWP.com. This is a report that they did, a survey of a bunch of CEOs, and this is the data that they found, and it is very interesting when it comes to AI. So the question that they asked all of these CEOs, in the last 12 months, what impact did AI have on the following at your company? And they wanted to know whether or not it increased or decreased cost, or nothing changed, and whether or not it increased or decreased revenue. And from this chart, we got some very interesting information. Only 12% of CEOs report that it both increased revenue and decreased cost. This is a very small number. I was going to say this is a huge thing to glean from, and it is. But it is a very small number. Only 12% of CEOs have saved money and increased revenue. Now, the other shocking part is 42%, no change at all. Now, this is something that could change in the future as AI gets a little bit more integrated into a company. I could see these numbers shifting very heavily. But for now, it does indicate that maybe not AI is not necessarily that magic, that silver bullet. And as a small business owner, you need to be able to discern whether or not AI is going to do a whole lot for your company, or is it just going to be a waste of time, maybe cost some extra money. It just depends on your industry. But yeah, take this information with a grain of salt, and also know that future advancements in AI could completely change this. All right, next up, we have a new study from MailChimp that talks about customer engagement. So a new study from Intuit, MailChimp, highlights how trust plays a critical role in consumer engagement during the sign-up process. The report, titled "The Art of the Opt-in," shows that simply collecting emails and SMS contacts isn't enough. Brands must focus on building trust and personalizing the user experience to truly connect with customers. That is spot on. You can't just, every customer is going to be a little bit different. You can't just say this one little thing is going to be perfect for everybody. This thing is going to be good for Mike. This thing over here, it's going to be good for John. You got to be able to customize, tailor your messages to your customers. Having a good CRM will help you do that. According to Matt Cimino, a product manager at MailChimp, the sign-up moment is one of the few times brands can earn permission to form a direct relationship with customers. However, the study finds a big gap between what marketers think consumers are willing to share and the reality of privacy concerns. For example, while 65% of brands ask for a phone number at sign-up, only 28% of consumers are comfortable sharing this information. That's me right there. I do not like giving out my phone number, because with email, I know that I can put filters in, spam, whatever. It's a little bit harder with the phone number. And if it gets sold, my phone is ringing off the hook with, have you got your car warranty? We're here to upgrade your car warranty. We want you to buy life insurance. I don't know. It's not comfortable for me personally. The report also reveals that many marketers struggle with maintaining high-quality contact lists. Less than one-third state that their list is very high quality, and only 8% report strong opt-in rates. This could be due to a lack of automated marketing tools. Trust also verifies by generation. So 39% of Gen Z believe brands will follow privacy laws. Yeah. But only 19% of baby boomers think the same thing. With so many data leaks, so many times that you put your email address in and then all of a sudden you're getting emails from everywhere. It's hard to trust companies. It's hard to trust companies. I usually, if I have to, and I'm a little weary of a company, I'll use a an email address that is a burner email address. I don't trust, putting out my information. All right, SurveyMonkey again. SurveyMonkey users. Let's go down here. New onboarding survey fosters candidate feedback from new hires. So, SurveyMonkey announced enhancing onboarding surveys designed to help new hires integrate better into their company. These surveys allow small business owners to collect both structured feedback and open-ended responses, giving them valuable insights into how new employees feel about their roles. The surveys use scaled questions to assess new hires on their clarity, confidence, and preparedness, while open-ended questions invite them to share their thoughts on what part of onboarding works well and what doesn't. This dual approach encourages honest feedback in safe, anonymous ways, helping businesses pinpoint issues early on the onboarding process. Getting to issues early is vitally important. If you have an issue where a person is not trained properly, if they feel like they're drowning, this tool could actually give them the opportunity to be able to voice those concerns and be able to have that behavior corrected so that it doesn't become a problem down the road. All of a sudden, you have with this an employee who's doing everything correctly versus someone 2, 3 months, 4 months down the road, they're hurting, they're struggling. I get it. This perfect. I like these kind of tools. I like being able to utilize AI, utilize new technologies to be able to really enhance processes that can be very troubling and time consuming and stuff that slips through the cracks. This feedback can empower small business owners to tailor training programs to better meet the needs of new hires, ultimately reducing turnover. However, creating effective surveys requires careful planning, management, must be ready to accept constructive criticism. That right there. That's a big pain point. I know within companies, you get a manager and they go, I know better. It's right here. I know what needs to be done. Don't tell me what to do. I'm the manager. I know what needs to happen. And not all managers are like this. Not all managers. But some can be this way. And it could be a pain point. And hopefully this can help businesses be able to find those pain points quickly, resolve them, and be able to have less turnover, less pain points. I like this kind of stuff. This kind of new tools. All right, next up, we got Workday. They have integrated new features, and I'm, again, loving the new features that help, and this tool in particular will help translate military skills into something that's a little bit easier to use in the office place. Workday has introduced a new tool called the Military Skill Mapper, aimed at helping small business recruiters recruit veterans effectively. This innovative feature translates military experience into civilian skills, making it easier to hire teams to understand the valuable contributions that veterans can make. Every year, over 200,000 service members transition to civilian life, and many small businesses may not fully recognize the potential these individuals bring. The Military Skills Mapper aims to change that by making veteran skills more relatable and easier to identify in the hiring process. Rod Levi, CEO of Code Platoon, emphasizes that veterans want their skills to be clearly understood, not special treatment, to be, they don't want special treatment, and this tool can help meet that need. The military mapper, skill mapper, works with Workday recruiting platform by analyzing veterans' military backgrounds and job descriptions to create tailored list of civilian equivalent skills. This leads to more effective resumes for candidates and smoother hiring processes for employers. I like this. I like tools that allow you to take someone from one industry and be able to effectively put them into another industry. And this doesn't even have to be just about military, um, but this could be any kind of industry. And I wish that they'd go forward with this. Oh, when it comes to veterans, one of the things that you think, are you going to go become a police officer? Are you going to become a security officer? Are you going to do something that incorporates the skills that you usually see within the Army or the Navy or the Air Force and be able to move them over into civilian life? And the first thing that usually comes into mind is security, police, those kinds of skills. But there are so many more skills within the for those that go into the armed forces, and especially if you're coming from like the Navy, if you're coming from the Air Force, there's a lot of math, computer technology kind of skills that come out of it. But that's not just reserved for those branches. So being able to have someone come in and say, well, I have all of these skills. Well, I don't know if I can use those. Well, let's put it through the mapper. Oh, you could really help me out here, here, and here. Perfect. I love this kind of stuff. All right. So wanted to add in a relatively new aspect of this podcast, this live stream. What I want to do is be able to bring out some deals, something that you might be interested in as a small business owner. So first off, on the that I got is Adobe Firefly is doing unlimited generations until March 16th if you got yourself a plan. Now, normally you generate an image, 20 credits, 40 credits, depends on the what you use to be able to generate it, whether you're going to use the Firefly built in, or you're using Google, or you're using ChatGPT. But the big one is going to be video generation. And if you've ever wanted to try video generation, I think they have a $20 plan somewhere around there. Be able to get in there and do unlimited videos for the next month, over a month. That is really helpful. I know I've generated videos and it costs hundreds of credits. You can only do a few, and even with AI companies, it can be, they limit the amount of videos that you can do, but unlimited videos, that's going to be very useful. And it's useful if you're wanting to actually get out there and try video generation, to not have that looming, oh, I'm using up credits, to be able to go in there, try things out. It's an awesome opportunity to be able to learn a new skill, to be able to utilize it without fear of, I'm going to run out of credits. Next up, from Xero, we have I believe it's 85% off for the first 6 months. If you switch over to them, or if you're a new business and you're looking for a accounting software, Xero has your back. They want to give 85% off for the first 6 months. If you buy before March 31st, you can't beat an $8 a month or $3.75 for accounting software. I know I pay somewhere around $40 for QuickBooks. But hey, if you're getting out there and you're wanting to get in some accounting software, perfect opportunity for you. And so this is one I kind of came across by accident. So announced recently, the Google Pixel 10a is coming out here in late February, and so the 9a, it's going to start. You're going to start seeing some sales. And so I recently bought my son a phone off of Google Fi, Google's their cell phone company. They piggyback off of some of the other big name companies' cell towers. So I get some really good connection off of them, and I was able to get a 9A completely for free. 2-year commitment, but I'm going to be there for 2 years, so I may as well get a free phone out of it. So be on the lookout for Pixel 9As. They're going to be going down in price as stock. They need to make room for the Pixel 10A when it comes out. All right, next part, Reddit stories. A few stories that I found on Reddit that are kind of interesting. So the first one comes from Sad Alternative 2422, working on delegating for months. I'm going to change over to here. That way I can read the whole thing. So I want my team to take more ownership, and they're aware of this. So I brought on this guy back in September of last year so I wouldn't be involved in every little decision. He's been pretty solid, but my problem is I still check on our business checking account every single day. And last week I saw a $380 charge from Granger for which I had no knowledge of. I gave him a call next morning and he was like, yes, we needed a replacement part for the Miller job. And then I remembered, but the issue, from my point of view at least, is that I still had to call and see what this charge was about. His tone when he explained it pretty much gave it away that he's tired of me doing this, since it's not the first time that I've done this. My whole pattern is I tell him he's in charge and then question every purchase he makes, which obviously defeats the entire point. I know he's not going to blow money on stupid stuff, but the second I see charges I wasn't personally involved in, I start second guessing everything. Even my wife says I need to either delegate or just stop caring, full stop. And I agree with her, but I don't know how to do this. Any tips or tricks? So it's hard when you've got control. And I've worked with some micromanaging bosses in the past. It's hard to give up control when you've got control, and it's hard when it's your business to put it into other people's hands, but that's ultimately what you have to do. Either that or you're going to work yourself into a rut. The biggest thing to do is to maybe somewhat give up control and maybe not look at it once a day, but try to get to once a week. And then sit down, have a weekly meeting with your guy and be like, okay, how are things going? Hey, what was this charge about? Don't make it, a big deal, an emergency deal, but just once a week, check in. And then maybe once every other week, once a month, you have a little bit of a check-in. Slowly release that. Don't go cold turkey. You're going to go back. You're going to snap right back. Just slowly release it. And that shows that you're actually building the trust with them. And then you're also not just tossing them out there to potentially drown. So this one comes from Routine Post 3154. Nobody warned me how mentally exhausting running a successful business would be. From the outside, things look good. Revenue is steady. Clients are happy. Bills are paid. I'm not drowning anymore, which I'm grateful for. But mentally, I feel more tired now than when I was barely surviving. It's not the work itself. I actually enjoy the work. It's the constant decision making with no off switch. Every day, it's something small that quickly stacks. Price tweaks. One difficult customer, a hire that's good but not great, a cost increase you didn't plan for, a gut feeling you can't fully explain. There's no boss to say you're overthinking this. No coworker to share the weight. Even when you have people around you, the final call is yours. And if it goes wrong, that's on you too. What messes with me is that people assume once your business is working, the stress goes away. It doesn't. It just changes shape. Less panic, more background pressure. I don't regret starting it at all. I just wish someone told me the big part of growth is learning how to sit with uncertainty without letting it eat you alive. That's every small business. I mean, when it comes down to any kind of business in general, there's always that looming threat, especially when you you've gone through a not so successful time, there's that looming thought in the back, "Oh, what happens if I have to go back to that uncertain time? What happens if this breaks? What happens if I lose this customer? What happens if I, what if, what if?" And it doesn't help that it seems like you're taking on a lot of the tasks. My suggestion would be to help help that offset that. Give those little tasks to someone and let them deal with it. Don't take it all upon yourself. That's the best way I've seen to be able to help yourself, your mental state. If I have a cousin, he owns a Dairy Queen, he has a manager. His manager takes care of most of the day to day. And he comes in, does a few things, make sure that, the lights are still turned on, no one's stealing, checks the books a little bit, and then he goes off. And then he does whatever he needs to do. As a small business, try to get to that point. That's what I would say. How do I scale a vintage shop when everything is one of a kind? This one comes from No Conference 9892. Yep. I run a small online vintage fashion business, and for about 2 years, I didn't really run into a major problem, but recently I've been hitting something I can't seem to solve. I keep getting groups of customers, sometimes 15 to 20 people, asking for the same specific item or style. The problem is I might only have 3 to 4 of these pieces or a few similar ones. People are actually willing to wait for the restock, which is great, but after a few weeks, I end up giving them a message explaining that I just couldn't source any more of it and they're understandably disappointed. I know exactly what my customer wants. I just can't seem to get enough of it. Up until now, I've been sourcing from smaller vintage wholesalers, local markets, random finds, but it's clearly not scaling with demand anymore. I feel like I'm starting to lose customers, not because they don't like my shop, but because I can't provide enough quantity of the things that they want. So I wanted to ask here, uh, do you find bigger, more reliable vintage suppliers? That may not be your problem because vintage is vintage. You only have so much out there, and it decreases every day because someone finds something and then it's out of the market and you can't find it. The best option is to try to sell replications. Um, don't say that it's vintage, but say this style is very popular, and so I just stocked a couple duplications, replicas of this kind of vintage style. It's brand new. Um, Let them know that, but say it's a replica of this vintage style. If you've got a vintage style community who's wanting to buy from you, lean into that and find a wholesaler that's willing to sell you this vintage type clothing or pieces, whether it's like brooches or jackets or something like that. Be able to find them brand new, let them know, hey, this is a brand new item, and then sell them for less, but you could sell more. It helps you diversify your business, which is always my big number one thing. It's like make sure that you have multiple ways to sell. That way, if you can't find those vintage pieces, you're not leaving money on the table. All right, customer used my product for 6 months, then demanded a full refund because he changed his mind. This comes from Own Profile 2330. So I sell handmade leather goods. Been in business for 4 years now. Guy bought a wallet from me back in July, full price, no complaint at purchase, left a nice review saying that he loved it. Fast forward to yesterday, he emails me saying he wants a full refund because the wallet didn't meet his expectations. I asked what was wrong with it. Is the stitching coming undone? Leather cracking? Hardware failing? Nope. He just says, realize it's not his style anymore. He thinks he should get his money back. I politely explained that my return policy is 30 days and that doesn't cover change of mind a half a year later after using the product daily. The wallet isn't defective. He just doesn't want it anymore. His response: I'll be leaving a review reflecting my experience with your customer service. So now I'm sitting here trying to decide what to do. Part of me just wants to refund him to avoid the bad review. I'm a small operation and every review matters, but the other part of me knows that if I cave to this, I'm basically telling him and everyone else that they can use my product for free as long as they threaten me at the end. My policy is clearly stated on my website. The product isn't faulty. He used it for 6 months, but a 1-star review could genuinely hurt me. Been up late playing Jackpot City, trying to distract myself from stressing out about this. Keep going back and forth on what to do. For those who've dealt with this kind of thing, do you stand firm and eat the bad review, or do you just pay the extortion fee to make it go away? I genuinely don't know what the right call is here anymore. Take the bad review. And I say this because you can defend against it. You can say, look, respond to the review, come in and say, this person had it for 6 months. It worked really good. There was no tearing. There's no cracking. There's no seams coming out or anything like that. The product is still in perfect review as what he said it in this email. He just didn't want it anymore. And he wanted to give it back after 6 months. And that's not a return policy. He liked it at first, now he doesn't. The other part of this is that if I ever come across a product, and this is genuinely how people see, and there are no bad reviews at all, you kind of wonder if all of those reviews are paid for, if there's no bad ones. Trust becomes a little bit of an element when there are just no bad reviews. And so as a person, I always go down to the bottom, see what kind of bad reviews are, and see how did the company respond to those bad reviews. Did they work with the customer? Did they talk with the customer? What was going on here? And that's what you do that, and that's going to be the best course for you. You don't have to pay out. You're showing that you are actually working with customers. And that you're showing also that he wasn't potentially in the right here as well, that he was just a difficult customer to work with, and people are going to be more sympathetic towards that. All right, that is all of the Reddit stories I have for you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I'm going to have a special show next week. Next week, I'm going to be out in New York at Oracle, and I'm going to report back and, probably a little bit more news heavy towards the Oracle event. I'll come back here Thursday at 9 o'clock Pacific, 12 o'clock Eastern. I try to get in around there. I had to deal with a brand new software today, so I didn't quite get there at that time. But until next time, guys, have a great weekend. A great week.